Talk it out, show. Talk it out, show. Talk it out. Talk it out.
Yeah, talk it out, trying to figure out the path. We over here doing everything with the rap.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the thing, is like, sometimes again, if you going through and you're trying to walk around and see everything, and you want to make sure you be fair to everybody, and you give your money to everybody, our table takes up all that time. That's why a lot of people are like, I'm gonna come right back.
Yeah.
But then they're still not checking out the stuff, so then they don't know that there's all these other stuff on the table for them. But if you just have like the earrings resin, so that has a display of its own, have the body butter and stuff, and have that displayed very cutely, have the teas, the teas does good by itself, have the other stuff in their areas, it makes it so much easier. Still, it's one-stop shop, so you know, still, but it's just like you're taking you got to pick like what items are you gonna cater to. Are you going to stay in this function of the items? Or are you going to stay here? Something that everybody should be thinking about every week. Like, okay, this week I'm going to sell this, and I'm going to make sure I have lots of this so I can sell out. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we can sit here and say, like I'll say with my teas and lemonades, I have 3 or 4 bottles of them. That's it. And I'm done.
Yeah.
But no,
they be going.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I should be stocked up on them, sitting ready to pull them out with a whole bunch.
Yeah.
But I can't because I have so much other stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like we should have a limit. What we should do, if you're going to stay in the food area, stay in the food area. If you're going to stay in the so-and-so area, stay in that. Or have your 2 areas, but make sure you're stocked up. If you only have a display of, say, if Alizé only has 4 body butters, but she has 20 lip glosses, then eliminate the body butter. It's a waste of time. But if she has 10 body butters and 20 lip glosses and only 3 sugar scrub, the sugar scrub is eliminated because you're wasting time, because you weren't prepared to be actually selling. Now you're just picking and choosing what to sell. Don't do that. We have to think business wise. Like, one thing we know having a gift shop is when you have only a couple of items out there, people will not buy the couple of items. But if you have tons of those items out there, they're more likely to buy those items. You know what I mean? So it's to have that mindset of what you're going to do in that area. Try to pick out, and don't go off of my limit of saying 3 or 4. I'm just giving an example. But a lot of times, we're putting out stuff and we don't even have enough to really be putting out there to gratefully sell a lot. So let's think about the stuff, because right now our table's too cluttered. We need about 2, I'd say we almost need like 2.5 tables to put all our stuff on, so you can literally really get a true vision of what we got. When we could actually be good with 1.5 tables of what we have. If we did it, if we be fair to ourselves, not to each other, but to ourselves, and say, I made a lot of this, so this one's going out. I made a lot of that. That's going out. I made a lot of, this is what's going out. And that's it. And then if somebody goes, oh, I came to get the so-and-so. Oh, I have a couple of those. These are what I'm focused on today. But I do have a couple of them, and they sit beside us. And you can have those areas beside you where you can give it. But if you only have 1 or 2, why is it wasting room on the table for your 1 or 2? Because that's where we're being selfish at. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, you want people to, it still want to be at one stop, but you want people to see everybody's item, so everybody get an equal sale. And right now it's not an equal sale. It's not. And so that's where I said, I'm going to eliminate some of my resin, because I'll do my resin earrings, because that doesn't cost a lot of money, and we don't really have jewelry on the table, so I'll eliminate my resin earrings. And then I'm focusing on other stuff that I can actually afford even when I don't have money. Because you're always going to afford food, because you're always hungry.
And the one thing too is people always want to buy food because they be hungry all the time.
Yeah, so
that's the one thing that they'll buy. They will be like, oh, is that what it is?
Exactly.
They'll
So
get
you just
that.
always learn. Those are business things that it's a hard decision to make, and you have to really critique yourself. And that's where a lot of people fail in their business, is they won't critique themselves. They won't. They can critique everybody else. They can see other people, but they won't critique themselves. You have to. And like I said, I've been critiquing myself, and I've been saying a lot of times I'm not gonna put everything out. And then I listen to everybody. No, put it all in. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna put everything out. But I just didn't know why I shouldn't put everything out. I was like, it's just too much on the table. But now that I've seen it and saw how it worked, things that normally didn't sell was selling because you can actually see. And those are things that I was like, oh, okay. That's why. And you gotta learn. And I was watching something else. It was on YouTube. I love watching YouTube, you guys. It was something on YouTube that also explains like why you need to really know what you want to do, like what your business is. And it's a really important thing because our mind is always going to grow to something bigger. We're always going to elaborate. We're always going to have the skills on it. But one thing I noticed is like a lot of the people that be vending, they were making the stuff years before they actually popped up. And they were just sitting on it. And sitting on it and sitting on it. So there's no reason why we can't do the same thing. And then, like I said, pick and choose what we're going to bring. Okay, I'm going to bring this to this place. And okay, the next place, I'm going to bring this to this place. Yeah. Because I was looking at it, and another reason that got me the idea, because a lot of big vendors, they only give you a 10 by 10 table. I don't care how many people's on your table. So you got a 10 by 10 to sell with, and that's what you're paying for. And they don't really want you to come up with your extra table. They want everybody to have the same size table. So then you have to look at it like this. With the 10 by 10, and there's 4 of us, what items are we putting out on that 10 by 10 table? Talk it out, show, talk it out. It's the Talk It Out Show. It's the Talk It Out, Talk It Out, Talk It Out Show.
Talking it out all day, trying to figure out the line, to figure out the